Hey guys, Derek here. Welcome back to the channel. We are here reviewing the movie Dune. The movie Dune just came out today, Friday, as I'm recording this. Hopefully I'll have it up today. It stars Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson, and also like Jason Momoa and other big names. It's a very big film. Right off the bat, is Dune good? Yes, Dune is very good. Dune is definitely a movie that you need to experience on the big screen in theaters. If you have the chance, go see this movie in theaters. You will not be disappointed. Dune is a visual and auditory spectacle. In those two respects, it is a masterpiece in every way. Every single shot and every sound you hear is just like meticulously crafted and beautiful, and you're just like in awe of it the whole time. The director, Denis Villeneuve, he has this way with his films where like every single shot, like him and his cinematographer, whoever that is, just every single shot is just so perfectly crafted that it could be like every single still from the movie could be like a 4K background on someone's computer. Like, it's so beautiful. Seeing this in theaters on the Ultra screen was truly an experience, and I kind of use that specific word in a twofold way, because one, it was an experience being the person in the seat watching the movie, but then the story kind of just revolves around this experience that the lead character is going through. So one way to describe Dune would almost be like a coming of age story, if that makes sense. It follows the character of Paul Atreides. He is the heir to the Atreides throne. Paul is played by Timothée Chalamet, who is an excellent actor. He's got freaking jawbone chiseled by God. Paul Atreides and the other members of the Atreides clan, Duke Leto Atreides, played by Oscar Isaac, and his Bene Gesserit mistress, played by Rebecca Ferguson. They all travel to this planet called Arrakis on behest of the Emperor. They're supposed to, bring peace to this planet. Obviously, things do not quite go as planned. Obviously conflict is going to ensue. There's another house that is rivaling them and hates them in every respect, and their kind of interference, both passive-aggressive interference and direct interference, are pretty much the key catalysts to this story moving forward. So earlier when I said it was an experience both for the viewer and for Paul Atreides, he is coming of age and experiencing this deep change within himself. He is the son of the Duke, and he feels this immense responsibility to live up to those expectations. But inwardly, he is also experiencing a change on a deeper level, right? So he is having these visions of this girl, and he doesn't quite know what they mean, and throughout the film you learn more about what these visions are, how it plays into who Paul is and the role that he plays amongst other people, and you get to see Paul kind of shift and change throughout the movie as the things he's experiencing change his perception of the things around him, and it's very, very cool to see. Especially if you know what's happening, it is very, very cool and very interesting to see. This is definitely going to be a movie where if people didn't read the books at all, you might not know what's happening. There are various points throughout the story where you are kind of experiencing things both in the present and in the past, and also in the future, but also alternate versions of the future, or like what could happen, and you don't really get any hints very much. I mean, you get a few. You get some hints of like which is which. Like you see things that haven't happened yet, and you're like, oh, that could happen. But then you also see things that happened in the past, and all these experiences kind of circle around Paul and inform his decision making, and it's really, really interesting to see how he goes about that. Yeah, but it is a coming of age film in a sense where, you know, Paul is growing both as a man, but he is also being lifted up by pretty much every single other character in the movie, which is kind of insane. He is seen as almost this like messiah-like figure by the people of this planet and even other planets. See, Paul has been being trained by his mother in the ways of the Bene Gesserit, and the Bene Gesserit is like this cult of like super women, kind of like they are incredible at everything. They have trained for centuries, like this craft. They have crafted a craft where they have like not heightened senses, but they are super aware of like every minute thing. They are able to like perfectly craft their voice, where if they say something, people will obey that command automatically, like without thinking. And they have kind of created this plan to shift and cross bloodlines and create this one like pure super being. And the thought process amongst many of these characters is that Paul Atreides is that person. But there's also much doubt amongst all the people, because it's like, if you saw some guy walking down the street and he was like, "I am Jesus, come back," you'd be like, don't think so. But so this whole story is revolving around Paul going through that process while also dealing with the conflict of Arrakis and House Harkonnen and House Atreides and just the history that encapsulates it all, both told and untold. Like I said, this movie is a visual masterpiece, an auditory masterpiece. A lot of it, well, I say auditory masterpiece with a little bit of a caveat, right? Because for the most part, it is insane, like how like visually and auditorily stunning this film is. But there are certain points when people say things where I'm definitely going to have to watch it again, because sometimes when some of the characters would speak, you couldn't understand what they were saying. They would either be like, not whispering, but they would be saying it in a hushed voice, or they would be talking very quickly. Dave Bautista had a line early on where like I had no idea what he said. So this is definitely going to be a movie where, while the ideal form of watching this movie is the biggest screen possible with the loudest speakers possible, it is also one that would benefit greatly of a second watch on a smaller screen with subtitles. Both just to fully encapsulate, you know, every piece of dialogue that is told, but also to help process the storytelling that happens both in the past, present, and future. I thought Timothée Chalamet did an excellent job as Paul Atreides. I thought Oscar Isaac did a great job as Duke Leto. Some of these characters are featured more prominently than others. I think the two biggest characters that are featured in this are Paul, so Timothée Chalamet, and then Lady Jessica, played by Rebecca Ferguson. They are, of this movie, they are the two main characters. And it is very interesting kind of seeing what goes down, because a lot of their interactions are conveyed non-verbally, because they're both very tuned in to the things around them, and they notice the smallest things, and sometimes they communicate with like hand signals, and it's a lot. You have to know what's happening. I thought Josh Brolin did an excellent job as Gurney. Jason Momoa did an excellent job. He played Duncan Idaho, who I think he had actually a bigger and slightly different story in this movie than he did in the books. Zendaya, who was actually marketed a lot for this film, because obviously it's Zendaya. She actually wasn't in the movie much. Like, she was sparsely featured throughout most of the movie in small little snippets in terms of in visions, and then kind of came into play more so in the end of the movie. Stellan Skarsgård was very unnerving and creepy as the Emperor. And then our boy Polka Dot Man was in this movie. David Darshmal, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He plays Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad, and I did not know he was going to be in this movie, but he was very interesting. I thought it was good, but he was weird. Yeah, so all the actors did a great job. It was visually beautiful, auditorily beautiful. For some, the story may seem a little bit lacking. I'm guessing. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of people that come out of this movie and they're like, it didn't tell a story. Like, it didn't have a 3 arc kind of thing. It was just kind of like it was on the up. It was just going up, and it never climaxed and came down. And I think part of that is because this movie is part 1 of 2, right? So the director Denis Villeneuve decided that he would only adapt this story if he could make it into 2 movies. And so this whole first movie is just pretty much a setup. Like, it's just set up for the second half of the movie, like, which is kind of surprising considering, like, which characters die, when they die, how they die, like the immense amount of action packed into this movie. I didn't expect so much action to be in this movie. But it was really cool. The hand-to-hand combat especially was very interesting to watch. But yeah, a lot of people might come out of this movie wanting more and thinking less of this movie because of it. I, on the other hand, am still wanting a lot more, but mostly because I was so pleased with what I saw in movie 1 that I cannot wait for movie 2. It's gonna be incredible. I'm super excited. Yeah, again, this movie is an experience. The scope of this movie is insane. Just watching it, you can feel like how important this movie is. Dune as a source material has inspired countless sci-fi that has come after it. Star Wars has been inspired by Dune. Dune itself, I guess, was kind of inspired partly by the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov. That one and then this are like 2 of the pillars of sci-fi that have kind of inspired everything that came after it. And watching this movie, you can truly feel how important this is. Like, every moment is like, every important moment, which is almost the entire film, is scored by these loud, not like chanting, but like screaming songs. I don't know how to quite explain how it is, but like, you're watching it and you're like, oh my God, this is important, what I'm watching. And so I freaking loved it, man. It was incredible. It is easily one of my favorite, if not my favorite, films of the year. Granted, not a lot of films have come out. But I imagine this movie, kind of similar to like Blade Runner 2049, this movie's going to stand the test of time, and it's going to be remembered for a while, especially if part 2 holds its weight, which it'll come out in like 3 years. But if part 2 can kind of finish in a clean, solid way, these 2 movies will go down as 2 of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time. I'm calling it now. I think they're that good. Yeah. I think that's all I gotta say. I think I didn't quite have a structure of how I wanted to put this review out there. I just kind of was just saying things as they came to my head. You know, I didn't write down a script or anything. So I apologize if it was a little bit rambly, a little bit ranty. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this whole review thing. I think I've gotten decently okay at doing reactions, not very good at doing reviews yet. Overall, I think I would give this movie a 9.5, 9.75 out of 10. I thought it was incredible, just freaking fantastic, and I am gonna end up watching it many more times. It is a long film, and at some points it can feel long, but it is like, it's not the longness where you're like bored. It's long where you're like, oh my God, like this is an event, and I am here for all of it type thing. Yeah, but that's my review of Dune. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this movie, if you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, are you looking forward to seeing it? I apologize that I didn't do a reaction for this movie. I know some other channels have done a reaction. I was kind of advised in my comments that this is a movie that I should see on the biggest screen possible and not on my laptop. So I followed that advice and I just watched it in the theaters. And I don't think doing a reaction to a second viewing would feel very genuine. So I'm just going to stick with the review. I hope that's not too big of an issue. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this movie down below. If you are interested in seeing more reviews from me, let me know. If you liked my review or it was informative, helped your decision in going to see this movie at all, leave a like on the video. It means a ton to me, helps my videos get seen more. Subscribe if you want to see more reviews or reactions or anything from me, and ring the bell so you're notified when I upload. And then if full-length reactions are something that interests you, consider supporting me on Patreon. The link is in the description. There you can become a super supporter and get featured in every single one of my videos. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.